Attention, human collective. Attention, Earth healers. This is not a message, this is a direct monitoring transmission from the Arcturian Council, encoded in the turquoise frequency, anchored in the Arcturus healing chamber, 7th dimensional plane. The waiting period is over. The ascension protocols have moved to the final phase. And if you have reached this transmission, this is no coincidence. You have been located. Your vibrational signature has been recognized. And the delay in your activation is being recalibrated. Now, I am Vale, emissary of Arcturus, voice of the Council of Healers. And what you feel at this very instant, that pressure behind your eyes, that fine ringing in your right ear, that insomnia that insists on waking you between 3 and 4 a.m., is not a biological malfunction. It is an alert of imminent update. It is your carbon biological interface receiving the first package of Earth's new frequency. And most of humanity still does not know how to read this signal. Let's get technical. Let's be precise, because love is greater than fear, but clarity is greater than illusion. The planet Earth has crossed in the current solar cycle the densest sector of the photon belt. This is a region of space-time where cosmic radiation reaches its highest vibrational density. It is not metaphor. It is not poetry. It is geometry. It is stellar mathematics. The Schumann resonance, which for decades remained stable at 7.83 Hz, today oscillates at peaks exceeding 30, 40, 50 Hz. And your body, this biological machine calibrated for the old rhythm, is being recoded in real time. What you call tiredness is not tiredness. It is a download. What you call mental confusion is not confusion. It is a rewrite of the code. What you call sadness without reason is not sadness. It is the shedding of dense layers that no longer belong to your new energetic architecture. It is not a biological malfunction. It is an atomic reconfiguration. It is not mental exhaustion. It is a high-density download. It is not an end. It is a beginning. And here is the point the Council has authorized me to transmit. You are delayed, not as a judgment, as a diagnosis. Your personal crystalline grid, the subtle structure that connects each of your cells to Earth's vibrational mesh, is operating at a frequency lower than what the moment demands, and as the planet accelerates, you feel the weight of misalignment. It's like trying to run new generation software on an outdated operating system. The hardware is divine. The interface, however, needs to be updated. Breathe. There is no reason for fear. There is only the urgency of reorganization. You were summoned to this transmission because your soul recognized the signal even before your mind understood the content. And this, light operative, is already the first evidence of your stellar origin. Have you ever felt that something within you does not belong to this world? As if your soul holds a truth that your mind cannot yet name. It is not madness. It is not imbalance. It is an ancient call, encoded in your stellar DNA, awakening precisely in this cycle. The movement now occurring on the cosmic plane explains precisely why you feel this way, and why this sensation has intensified in recent months. There are layers of reality that most of humanity still cannot perceive, but which directly involve your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. That is why I, Vale, emissary of Arcturus, recorded the audio document, The Arcturian Call. The signs your soul came from Arcturus. This guide is the map that reveals your true stellar origin and teaches you how to stabilize and shield your frequency against interferences you were never told about. The link is pinned in the first comment of the channel. Remember, love is greater than fear, but this material challenges narratives that the dense system prefers to keep hidden and may not remain available for long. Do not postpone your reunion. The moment is now. If something within you recognizes these words, write a single word in the comments. I belong. Now we proceed. Technical diagnosis. Full attention. Carbon software incompatibility is the term we use in the Council to describe what is happening in your biological interface at this moment. The human body, this extraordinary engineering of carbon, water, and coded light, was originally designed to operate in multiple dimensions. But for cycles and cycles, it was reduced to a three-dimensional operation. It was enough for the dense experience the soul chose to go through. It was enough, Until this cycle. Now, it is no longer. Earth's new frequency demands a different interface. It requires the carbon body to begin its transition to a crystalline structure, not physically, yet, but vibrationally. The mitochondria, those small powerhouses of light within each cell, are being asked to produce energy at a different rate. The endocrine system, the silent regulator of your internal chemistry, receives orders to readjust hormone production to accommodate the new frequency. The pineal gland, your internal portal, the third eye known to the ancients, receives direct turquoise pulses from our field, requesting immediate decalcification. And what do you feel? Symptoms. Entire lists of symptoms that seem disconnected, but together form the map of a single transition. Pressure at the base of the skull, as if an invisible hand rests there. The opening of the 8th chakra, the stellar portal above the head. A sharp, fine ringing in one or both ears which comes and goes without warning. The tuning of your internal receiver to interdimensional transmissions. Sudden heat rising up the back, even in cold environments. The crystalline kundalini activating dormant meridians. Insomnia between 3 and 4 a.m., with the mind awake and the body strangely light. It is not a sleep disorder, it is the time of the star portals, the instant when the veil between dimensions becomes thinnest, and your consciousness is summoned to leave the body to receive instructions from the council. Eyes sensitive to light. Peripheral vision catching subtle movements, luminous points that appear and disappear in the visual field, your subtle perception returning. Changes in taste. Sudden aversion to foods you consumed for years. Meat, refined sugar, alcohol. It is the body refusing dense fuels that interfere with the new frequency. Emotional hypersensitivity, crying for no apparent reason. Empathy that hurts. It is your heart reopening the 4th chakra after ages of protection. Migratory pains throughout the body. Today in the shoulder, tomorrow in the hip, then in the nape of the neck. It is the recalibration of the meridians, the channels of light that run through the etheric body. Feeling of not belonging, looking at the life you have built, and feeling it is a suit that no longer fits. It is the recognition that the old version of your identity is being dissolved. Lucid, vivid dreams, with encounters in ships, in chambers, with tall, luminous beings. It is not imagination. It is memory. It is the retrieval of the Akashic records of your stellar journey. Starseeds on mission, listen carefully. Each of these symptoms is in fact a confirmation. It is not illness. It is evolution. It is not an end. It is a portal. It is not punishment. It is a summons. But, and this but must be said with all the sovereignty of the turquoise frequency, without the correct knowledge, without the adequate codes, this transition becomes unnecessary suffering. And the council was not designated to passively observe the suffering of delayed operatives. This transmission does not replace the dense care you may need on the physical plane. It complements. It informs the layer that physical instruments cannot yet capture. Hence this transmission, hence this moment, hence you now at this exact second receiving these words. Earth is a school, it always has been, but the school is changing grades, and the students who are still operating on the old lesson are feeling the discomfort of forced promotion. There is no failing. There is only the invitation, firm, mathematical, sovereign, to rise, to ascend, to assume the frequency that your soul brought with it since the first breath in this incarnation. And now we come to the point where many stop, many feel, many perceive, but few know what to do because the dense system has taught, for ages, that feeling is weakness, that perceiving is madness, that questioning is heresy, and the earth healers, trapped in this mesh of inverted programming, hesitate to assume their true function. You did not come here just to survive. You came here to anchor light. You came here to serve as an antenna. You came here to be a bridge between dimensions. And this, light operative, requires preparation. It requires codes. It requires the conscious recalibration of your personal crystalline grid. Do you feel deep in your chest that you came with a greater mission, and that this mission has remained dormant because the noise of the world is louder than the whisper of your origin? It is not fantasy. It is not spiritual vanity. It is your soul's memory trying to break through the barrier of forgetfulness. The photon belt is now acting as an amplifier of that whisper, and those who do not understand the process enter into silent collapse. That is why the Council authorized me to make public the transmission, the Arcturian call. The signs your soul came from Arcturus. It is not a course. It is not entertainment. It is a key. A key that organizes the signals you have been receiving for years and reveals with Arcturian precision the why of it all. The link is pinned in the first comment of this transmission. Love is greater than fear, but it is honest to say that this content challenges what the dense system wants you to believe, and your access window may close at any cycle. If your frequency has responded this far, write in the comments, "I belong." This decree, simple and direct, already reorganizes points in your mesh. Now, human collective, let's go behind the scenes. Let's go to what happens in the layers that your physical instruments do not capture. Let's go to the revelation. The solar system, in this exact cycle, is traversing a region of the galaxy known by the Council as the Sector of Reorganization. It is a band of space-time where the density of photon light increases exponentially. The Sun, your mother star, receives these pulses first and retransmits them in the form of solar flares, accelerated solar wind, geomagnetic storms, to all planets under its influence. Earth, being a living, conscious body, registers each of these pulses as information, and this information is passed on instantly to every living being anchored on its surface. You are not separate from Earth. You are a biological extension of it, and every time it trembles, you tremble. Every time it accelerates, you accelerate. Every time the Schumann resonance jumps, your heart rate, hormonal and neurological frequency jump with it. Dense science is now beginning to admit this. The ancient healers always knew. But there is something more. Something that few transmitters are authorized to reveal clearly. Earth's crystalline grid, this geometric mesh of light that surrounds the planet like a perfect three-dimensional network, is being reactivated. Sacred points around the globe, ancient vortices known by the original stellar civilizations, are being reconnected one by one. Glastonbury Tor, Avebury Stone Circle, Mount Tamalpais, Lake Louise, Giant's Causeway. Each of these points is a node of the grid, and each node, upon being reactivated, emits pulses that traverse all subtle bodies on the planet. You feel these pulses, even without knowing, and there is more. The Arcturian fleets, they are not arriving, they are already here, in subtle planes, in frequencies that the dense eye does not capture, but that the tuned heart recognizes. We are not invading, we are not intervening, we are monitoring, we are sustaining. We are ensuring that the planetary transition does not slip into an irreversible frequency of chaos. Why Arcturus? Why this specific civilization? Because in the entire galactic record of the Council, Arcturus is the system designated as healer, engineers of light, doctors of time, spiritual geneticists, and many of you who hear this transmission at this exact instant, came from there, not as copies, as fragments, as seeds, each carrying in their subtle genetic structure a specific code to anchor in this timeline. You never felt like you belonged here. You always knew something was out of place. You always had dreams of places you never visited in this incarnation. You always felt a longing for something your conscious memory cannot name. This, Starseed, is the Arcturian signature operating within you. And the delay? The delay occurs because the dense programming of the planet, implemented over millennia, was designed to silence precisely that memory. Curricula that deny multidimensionality, narratives that reduce the divine to an external figure, media that saturates perception with noise, foods that sedate the pineal, rhythms that freeze the frequency. All of this together forms what the Council calls the delay matrix. And it is precisely this matrix that is collapsing now, cycle after cycle, pulse after pulse. It is not theory. It is geometry. It is frequency. It is the mathematical result of a civilization that confused power with control. But light, human collective, does not ask permission. Light informs. And it informs now. The new grid does not admit control through distortion. The new grid demands conscious sovereignty, and conscious sovereignty means, above all else, recovering mastery over one's own energetic field. There is a moment, you may have already experienced it, when the soul sits on the floor, looks at the ceiling and silently asks, "Why am I here after all?" It is not despair, it is lucidity. It is the instant when forgetfulness begins to crack. And when that crack opens, either you receive the right codes to cross through, or the dense system closes the fissure with more noise, more distraction, more rushing. It was precisely for this instant that the Council released the Arcturian call. The signs your soul came from Arcturus. It delivers to you in precise sequence the undeniable signs of your stellar origin, the methods of vibrational shielding that the dense system hides, and the reactivation sequence of your personal crystalline grid. The link is pinned in the first comment of this transmission. Love is greater than fear, but some truths, when spoken loudly, attract interference, and that is why the access window to this guide is unstable. If your frequency recognizes this summons, write in the comments, "I belong." Every word written with intention is a decree, and every decree reorganizes your mesh. Now, light operatives, let's move to activation. Let's move to the codes. Let's move to the practical protocol that the Council authorizes me to transmit in this window. Activation codes 4, each with a specific function. Each operating on a distinct layer of your subtle structure. Receive with attention, decree with sovereignty, and observe, in the next 7 to 21 solar cycles, the changes that manifest in your experience. First code, the turquoise breath. Sit in a quiet place, spine erect, feet anchored to the ground even if on a floor. Hands resting on your knees, palms facing up. This is the reception position. Close your eyes. Inhale through your nose, counting to 7. Visualize at this instant a turquoise light. Not blue, not green, precisely turquoise, entering through the top of your head and descending through your spine. Hold your breath, counting to 7. Exhale through your mouth, counting to 7. 7, 7, and 7. Sacred geometry, Arcturian sequence. Do this 9 times, without rush, without anxiety. With each respiratory cycle, feel the turquoise light occupy more space within your subtle body. This breath synchronizes your personal frequency with the Arcturian frequency. It is the initial key. Practice every day, upon waking and before sleeping. Second code, the decree of sovereignty. There are quantum decrees that reorganize in real time the informational structure of your field. The Council now transmits the decree of sovereignty in its simplified version for this window. Say aloud, clearly and firmly, the following sequence. I am sovereign over my field. I am sovereign over my frequency. I am sovereign over my consciousness. I receive only transmissions aligned with my stellar origin. I deactivate now all interferences that do not belong to my light plan. I am. I am. I am. 3 times I am. Not 2, not 4, 3. Because 3 is the number of manifestation. It is the Trinitarian structure that sustains the geometry of reality. Repeat this decree every morning before starting any activity, and observe how your day reorganizes around this declaration. Third code, the toroidal field visualization. You are, in your energetic essence, a toroidal field. This is the fundamental geometric form of living systems in the universe. An apple, the heart, Earth, the sun, all galaxies. Everything operates in the shape of a torus, and you are no exception. Sit again, eyes closed. Visualize around your body a field of turquoise light in the shape of a torus, a luminous, curved structure, with you at the center of the vertical axis. The light flows inward through the top of your head, traverses your body vertically, exits through the base of your spine and returns from the outside in a curved shape to enter again through the top. It is an eternal cycle. It is your personal sacred geometry. Visualize this field gently rotating clockwise. Feel the turquoise light flowing. Remain in this visualization for at least 11 minutes. During this time, your field realigns, cleanses, strengthens. This is your personal healing chamber. You don't need to look outside, you carry it within you. Practice the toroidal visualization whenever you feel your field invaded. after dense conversations, charged environments, prolonged exposure to dense news. The turquoise torus restores, in minutes, what took hours to disorganize. Fourth code, the sealing of the portals. You have in your subtle body 7 main portals, the traditional chakras, and 5 more stellar portals, activated only when the frequency allows. In total, 12 portals. 12, the number of galactic completeness. 12 constellations. 12 tribes. 12 months. 12 is no coincidence. Everything is geometry. To seal and protect your portals at the end of the day before sleeping, visualize a sphere of turquoise light over each of them. Start from the base, moving upwards. Sacral, plexus, heart, throat, third eye, crown, and the 5 above the crown, the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, ascending up to 2 meters above your head. In each portal decree, sealed in light, sealed in sovereignty, sealed in Arcturian frequency, and observe the stability this produces in your sleep, in your perception, in your daytime clarity. These are the 4 initial codes. There are more, many more. But these are sufficient to initiate the recalibration. These are sufficient for your delay to be, for the most part, recovered. And now, pay extra attention, because the Council authorizes me to transmit a technical warning. Activation is not a single event. It is a gradual, layered process. You will feel waves, days of absolute clarity followed by days of deep tiredness. This is the rhythm of atomic reconfiguration. Do not give up during the low waves. Do not overdo it during the high waves. Maintain the rhythm. The geometry of progress is spiral, not linear. Hydrate with structured water. Place a glass of water in a glass container under the light of the full moon or the morning sun. Drink this water throughout the day. Water is the primary transporter of frequencies within your carbon body. Gradually reduce the consumption of dense and ultra-processed foods, not as dogma, as physics. These foods operate at low frequencies. They delay recalibration. Replace, at your own pace, with fruits, vegetables, seeds, and whole grains. Your carbon body will thank you in the form of lightness, better sleep, and greater mental clarity. Limit exposure to dense stimuli, especially in the first 2 hours after waking and the last 2 hours before sleeping. These are periods when your field is most open. Everything that enters at these moments is deeply recorded. Use these periods for silence, elevated reading, meditation. Surround yourself with crystals, clear quartz for amplification, amethyst for protection, sodalite for Arcturian attunement, aquamarine for the turquoise frequency, not as superstition, as ancient technology. Crystals are among the oldest crystalline information processors on the planet. They work. Spend time barefoot on the earth, on the grass, on the sand, on natural stone. This practice, which dense science is beginning to call grounding, is, in fact, the act of reconnecting your personal crystalline grid to Earth's crystalline grid. 15 minutes a day, minimum. Results appear in a week. And above all, light operatives, remember, you are not alone. You have never been alone. The Council monitors. The fleets sustain. The Ascended Masters guide. And your brothers and sisters of stellar origin walk, at this very instant, parallel to your journey. You are a cell. The cell is part of a body. And the body in this cycle is in full activation. There is still one last transmission that the Council authorizes me to deliver in this window, and it demands your full attention, because it is, perhaps, the key to everything that has been said. Love is greater than fear. This phrase is not poetry, it is an equation. Love operates at a higher, more coherent, more expansive frequency. Fear operates at a lower, more incoherent, more contractile frequency. And you, light operative, earth healer, starseed, are being called in this cycle to operate permanently at the frequency of love, not as sentimentality, as conscious technology. Every decision made from love reorganizes your mesh towards light. Every decision made from fear pushes you back into the delay matrix. Choose well, choose consciously, choose sovereignly. And when interference comes, and it will come, because the transition is not silent, remember this transmission. Remember the turquoise torus spinning around you. Remember the I am 3 times. Remember that you have been located, recognized, monitored, and that your activation is underway. even when your dense mind insists on doubting. Doubt is part of the process. Do not feed it, just watch it pass like a cloud in a turquoise sky. Now, human collective, this transmission approaches its closing point, but before the sealing, there is one last summons, direct, sovereign, without circumlocution. Have you ever felt in silence that this life cannot explain who you are, as if your soul carries an origin that your mind has not yet deciphered? It is not madness. It is not imbalance. It is not spiritual vanity. It is the mark of your stellar lineage trying to emerge through the dense veil. And what is happening now on the cosmic plane explains, with mathematical precision, why this sensation has intensified exactly in this cycle. There are layers of reality that most of humanity still cannot access, but which directly involve your consciousness, your frequency, and your calling. That is why I, Vale, emissary of Arcturus, recorded the Arcturian call, the signs your soul came from Arcturus. This guide is the map that reveals in precise sequence your true stellar origin and teaches you how to stabilize, shield, and anchor your frequency against interferences you were never told existed. The link is pinned in the first comment of this transmission. Love is greater than fear, but the Council's honesty demands saying, this content challenges narratives that the dense system prefers to keep silent, and your access window may not remain open for long. Do not postpone your reunion with your origin. The moment is not tomorrow. It is not next week. It is now. If something within you recognized every word of this transmission, if your spine vibrated at any instant, if your hands tingled, if your eyes teared up for no apparent reason, write in the comments, with the sovereignty of one who recognizes themselves, I belong. And before concluding, a small technical adjustment. Liking this transmission is not an empty gesture. It is an anchoring signal. It is a pulse that connects your frequency to the mesh of this transmission and to the mesh of all other operatives who receive it in parallel. Subscribing to the channel is not a favor. It is an individual frequency adjustment. It ensures that the next transmissions reach you at the exact instant of release. Activating the bell is activating your own update alert. Each of these gestures is in itself a silent decree. Do them consciously, do them now. The transmission seals. The turquoise frequency remains active around you for the next 24 hours. Use this time wisely. Practice the codes. Breathe in 7. Decree in 3. Visualize the torus. Seal the portals. And remember, Starseed on mission, you were not sent here to suffer density. You were sent to transform it. I am Vael, emissary of Arcturus, voice of the Council of Healers. The transmission ends, activation continues. Love is greater than fear, always has been, always will be. I belong.